Hey, 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 hello everybody, and good morning, good afternoon, and what is it, good night, or hello, good morning. Hey, anyway, welcome to another conversation with Jeff. I can't wait to get our guest out here. We were talking in the background before the session, and we could have talked forever just about all kinds of things. So you're in for a treat. All right, so listen, you know what to do, right? Those of you that have been following us, put it in the chat when you hop in. Let us know who you are. Let us know where you're from. If you're in real estate investing, or if you're in the corporate world, or you're just a mom, not just a mom or dad, family member, whoever you are, drop that in the chat because this is a conversation, a two-way conversation, three-way conversation. Our guests, me, and you folks, the audience. So please do those things and pass this message on. It's not too late now to bring your friends in, tell your friends, tell your family. Got a treat for you. All right, now. So do those things. Last thing I'm going to ask you to do is make sure you turn off all your other notifications, computer, no ding dong for your email, none of that crazy stuff, because you're going to want to be involved here. Get your pad and your paper out, get your phone if you're taking notes, because we got some stuff happening for you that you're not going to want to miss, okay? So those are the things we ask you to do. Participate. And you know what? We're going to do the same with you. So anyway, many of you know me as real estate investors, the king of rehab. And I'll introduce myself. I am Geoff Tyson, right? I got that name from other investors who would send us these deals to see us buy these really scary houses. And we turn them into masterpieces. But more importantly, and check this out, more importantly, they would come back and I could see that their mind, they were just like either they had made a mistake and scared to buy another home, or they bought a home, did a deal, and lost money, or they hadn't taken any action yet because they were scared, right? So that conversation, right? And that's kind of how, we want to feel, have this message to you today. And it's the conversation you're having with yourself about yourself, right? I mean, you could just see how they were, and everybody knows, our story and our, drives is driven by our state of mind. What state are we in, right? Are we mentally there? Are we physically there? Are we emotionally there? Are we on fire, or are we listening to that negative story, right? And man, it's been so important over the last almost 6-7 months with our guests, because they have like-minded intentions. They want to serve. They want to be able to provide their message that's going to help people unlock themselves from themselves, right? So our mission with Conversations with Geoff is really simple. I mean, really, really simple. It is to empower, encourage, and inspire people to become aware of their state, how they're feeling, what they're thinking, what energy level they are, and then that story that's related to where they are with that, right? And let me give you an example, and then we're going to get to our guest, right? But here's when people talk about, well, Geoff, you tell me, I got to change my state or change my story. How do I do that? So I've got a couple examples, and one of them I'm going to use, and some of you may not know what I'm talking about, but I got something for you too. Okay, so remember back in the day, those of you that had a record player and had albums, and we call it wax, right? When you put it on there, and had all your cool tunes. We didn't have all this new stuff, right? So we had these albums, and so I want you to just walk with me really quickly. You got a nice dinner set up, whoever you're with had dinner, and the music's playing in the background. So now you're getting up, do a little dancing together, a little snuggle dance, and your best part of the song comes on. I will love you I will love you right? You got scratch on the record. Man, so you go from romance and love to instantly, I can't use that word, but you know what I mean, right? So now in today's world, let's fast forward, and same situation, but everything's electronic. So now all of a sudden you lose power. Your hotspot doesn't work. You just have no means of communication. So right then, two scenarios give you the same example. You go from happy to sad, and guess what? When you get everything fixed, you go back to happy again. So we all have that ability to make a difference with our own selves, with the conversations we're having with ourselves. So anyway, ask your mom if you don't know what a record player is, or your dad, he'll tell you, wax or whatever. But anyway, so let me just get to our guest. All right, just a quick bio about her. She is a veteran school teacher of 16 years, and then left teaching to go into the health industry for 6 years, and finally, had the courage to say, hey, you know what? I want to get away from this. I want to get involved in real estate. So now she's killing it in real estate, real estate investor in North Carolina. Also now doing some amazing things. She's created, a large service called RAIN, and she'll tell you about each word and what that means, but it serves real estate investors. But listen, she's married and she's doing this with her spouse. So we're going to talk about those things and more. So ladies and gentlemen, with no further ado, let me introduce you to my friend and our guest, Jen Josey. Yeah, let me get her up here. Here we go. Hey!
Hello, Geoff. Good to see you again.
Yes, you as well. And that smile lights up everything, for sure.
I'm just wondering if you're ever going to change your shirt. Is that the same shirt you wear?
I wash it at least once a month.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show. I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, we're excited to have you, because folks are going to find out why I'm so excited by the time we're finished. But, before we get started, you mentioned something that I thought would be cool to kind of kick this thing off. That little gizmo you put on, what do you call it? Talk about that for a second.
It's not a record player. I just, just advancing a little bit in technology here. So it doesn't skip. I recently bought an Oculus Quest 2, which is the virtual reality headset. And so I was telling you because, you said you were inspired from being on my podcast to start doing stuff like this. And I was like, what? Are you crazy? This is nothing what I do. This is amazing. These live programs and YouTube channel. I don't have one of those. So eventually I will be having a studio made in my house where I'll do video and everything. But I was telling you that, I gained a little bit of weight during the COVID season. And so, happens to the best of us.
That's right.
I'm really working hard because when I start getting into live, productions and things like this, what you are doing. So I'm using it mostly for exercise. So I got this Oculus Quest 2. There's this, there's an app called Supernatural, and you get these like bats in your hand. They feel like plastic bats. You just have controllers, it's just a round controller, and it feels like you're knocking these things out. And I was getting so into it, and we're temporarily living in a condo or a house next door is being built, and I have very little space. So anyway, I ended up injuring myself. And I hurt my rotator cuff, which is, whacking these, things coming at me. And so, I went to my chiropractor. My chiropractor's like, yeah, we're just not going to put that in the details that you hurt yourself in virtual reality. I'm like, oh, goodness. Anyway, so.
No, that's funny. That's hilarious.
It is fun. I do enjoy it. I'm a little bit obsessed with it right now, but, it's helping me shed some of my chins.
Well, I was telling you, you're not alone. I had this little turkey. I think when I look at it, it's like a little gobble neck, right? Is that okay to say?
It happens to the best of us.
Hey, you know what? But we keep showing up anyway. So.
That is true.
So don't let your injury stop you. You're on your way with that stuff. And I told you I just saw that thing at Costco. I'm thinking, man, that would be kind of cool.
$300, and the same app also has a meditation app in it. And you put it on, and you're looking around, and you're on top of this mountain, and you got this guy with this chocolate Mufasa voice in your ears telling you all these amazing things. I'm like, yes, So anyway,
Simba, that voice, Simba. So
anyway.
That's a great show, by the way.
It is.
Man, Lion King. Is that the Lion King? Yeah. Seen it way too many times, right? So, all right. So, hey, listen. Thank you for that. And we talked about so many different things before we came on here, but one of the things that maybe we can kind of dive into, and because I think it'd be really helpful, is what is it like to live, breathe, and work with your spouse? I mean, golly, what is that?
It's a lot, and I'm telling you, probably my favorite thing about my business is that I get to work with my best friend, life partner, business partner, and so it is just it is tough as well, though. I will say that. So, yeah.
Let's talk about the tough part for a little bit. I mean, what happens when you know how men are, women too, but men are a little hard-headed, a little obstinate.
I'm the hard-headed one in the relationship, just FYI.
Oh, I kind of figured that, but I wanted for you to admit that. So how does he deal with you then and the roles are reversed?
So let me start off by saying I actually suckered him into marrying me because of real estate. So we were in the real estate industry and we had dated previously and then broke up and just stayed really, really good friends. And we got back together and he immediately, moved in with me. And one of our favorite things to do is to watch these HGTV shows. And one, by the way, who's Tarek El Moussa, who I actually work with now. So I'll get into that in a little bit. But
Yeah.
we would watch them. And so one day I was like, we should see, this is when we were still dating. So we should see our likes and dislikes. Let's go see a couple houses. We'll get my friend to just show some properties. We're just looking. So we're going through and we find this one house and I'm like, gosh, this is a really good price for this house. It's beautiful. And he's like, yeah, this really is. I'm like, well, I'm not getting into a mortgage unless I'm married. And he's like, well, I'm not getting a mortgage unless I'm married. And our realtor's like, what is happening? I'm like, well, let's go Friday. We'll get married on Friday.
Oh.
We literally, like, my realtor's like, oh my gosh, what just happened? And so Vance and I, we went and we got married on Friday. We put an offer on the property on Saturday and the deal fell through.
Oh.
And like, we got married for nothing. So that is the start of how dealing with me as your business partner. So we ended up finding a dream home. It was wonderful. We lived there for 10 years and now we are building another dream home next door in downtown Raleigh. It's a beautiful location. It's a historic home. We sold our house at the peak of the market and we bought the condo next door. Literally, I can look out my window at my house we built. And so again, crazy ideas that pop in my brain. I'm like, we should sell at the peak of the market and buy that condo. And he's like, that's not a half bad idea. So anyway, for us, there are 5 systems that we use to stay great and stay, committed to each other.
Yes.
And so I actually wrote a blog on this, and my blog was called I Slept with My Business Partner, 5 systems to follow when starting a business with your spouse.
Love it.
So the first and foremost, and what's important to us, is defining your roles. So this is pertaining to our fix and flip business. We also have an Airbnb short-term rental, long-term rental business. We just started a construction company. We have an agency for investors that get their real estate license. It's just an investor-friendly agency. We have, I think, 7 or 8 agents on our team now.
Nice.
So if you are going through and defining your roles, it is so important to do this and to check back in with it. So we've been in business 5 years now. And we just recently, I started coaching with Tarek El Moussa. And so a lot of my time started going towards coaching. So we had to revisit these roles. So just kind of sit down and in a fix and flip type business, you have marketing, you have acquisitions, finances, construction management, property sales, and business development. And I strongly suggest you all just, if you're working with, and this is for you, if you work with just a business partner, if you work doing a joint venture, all of this still is important. It doesn't have to be your husband. But you want to go down and then break down each aspect of that part of the business. And what we did is we wrote everything out. And so marketing, immediately I would be the marketing person, and he would be the finance guy because he is a accountant. Excuse me. He's an accountant at heart.
Gotcha.
And so he definitely is the finance guy. So automatically you'd say, oh, he's doing all the finance stuff. But as under the finance wing is finding private money lenders. I'm the mouth of our business. So I'm out there connecting with people, and that way I can still be under that finance thing, but that portion is mine. I'm making those connections with private money lenders. And under marketing, there's a marketing budget. He's in charge of the marketing budget. I do all the creativity stuff, etc. So number one, it's huge to definitely define your roles, and it helps to stay in each other's lane. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah, say that one again.
Stay in each other's, or stay out of each other's lane.
Get out. That's right. Get out of the way.
Yes. So it's important to, and again, like I said, go back and revisit them. So when I started coaching, I did a lot of the project management, and then he took on that responsibility when I had to dedicate some more time towards students. And, it's a little hard in the beginning to pass off some of my, goals to him.
Mine, right?
Yes, exactly. A little control freak,
Oh, no way.
So everything's about transitioning and growing and, keeping things, organized, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first part. Number 2 is determining your time commitment. And when we first started, and I can get into the story about how I left corporate America, and when the first 8 months, so we joined an education program. You are also a mastery student of Fortune Builders, and
Right.
I think is a phenomenal program.
Yep.
And when we started doing it, I changed my hours. I was working for Aetna, corporate America, and I would be in there from 7:30 and leave at 3:30, and then run our business in the afternoon. And he was still working his W-2 at the same time. Wow. And in the beginning, it was tough. I was, watching all these people get fired, and I'm like, gosh, when is it going to be my turn? I've never been fired. And it's just one of those things where I wanted to be in control of my financial destination. Yep. So that's why we went into real estate, but we can get into that. But so after 8 months in our education program, I was able to quit my corporate America job. Peace out, corporate America. Yes, goodbye.
Yeah.
So, yep, we and then in the beginning, I was like, I'm turning off my alarm clock. Yay, freedom. And shortly after that, I was like, nothing got done because I had all the time in the world. So I was feeling actually pretty guilty in the beginning. So this whole second part, which is about time commitment, you want to make sure that you all are on the same page of who's doing what, and how much time you're committing to it. So I would feel guilty if I went to go get a pedicure in the middle of the day. And he's like, why? I take breaks at my corporate America job. I take days off. So anyway, just committing time and letting each other know, which is huge.
No, that's really important. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's good. Keep going, girl. Yeah.
All right. I'll keep going. So number 3 is completing professional assessments. So when you join corporate America, when you are going through job interviews, a lot of times you have to do these type of tests. And one that I highly recommend is the DISC test. It's DISC. Wait, am I saying that right?
Yep.
DISC, yes. Yep. And it's just a, personality test type thing where you can see each other's strengths and each other's weaknesses and how to work with each other's strengths and weaknesses. Yeah. And, you may share a toothbrush holder with your business partner, but you still need to define this and see what exactly is a good fit for each other. So I just think it's really, really important. We actually just retook it recently too, because we've evolved throughout our business, and it's just very, very interesting. So that's number 3.
Yeah, and that test is really, I haven't taken it yet, but it's been coming up a lot. So it's destined for me to take that test. And you're really right. I mean, it really kind of clears out every, you want to be as clear. What I'm hearing you say is it's the emotional, the personalities, blending all that together, and then being comfortable, when the crap hits the fan. Right?
Exactly. And it spells it out for you. This is what you're great at, and this is what you aren't great at, and how to, each other's strengths and weaknesses. So I highly, highly recommend that.
Beautiful.
Yes.
All right.
The fourth important thing when working with your spouse is to create goals. And we do the SMART goals, and every December we leave like Christmas Day and we hide from our families and we go to the mountains to a cabin, and it's now our cabin. We actually bought one, but we go there and we spend the next couple days. It's a business write-off trip, and we write our goals for the year. And then we go a step further and we kind of break down our goals into, chunks, like what do we have to do per month to achieve this goal? And it's just we literally spend 3 or 4 days just going through what we want for our business that year, what businesses are expanding, and etc. So that's huge, is to create your SMART goals.
Wow.
Yes. Wow. Do you do SMART goals, Geoff?
Now I don't do SMART goals. You know, I know. I mean, I'm a BHAG type guy. You know,
Well,
they,
I'll tell you, you know, you're having my twin sister on next month, Joanna Anderson.
yes, Joanna. Yeah, I know.
I love her.
I
And
know.
she is, so she's a former teacher as well.
Yeah.
And she spoke at one of my meetings when I was first starting out and was talking about SMART goals. And I immediately was like, because we had done them in education. And it's just, you know, when you're forced to do something, you know, when I was a teacher and I was just like, ugh, I hate
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And but then it's so different when it's for your business, for you. And I really got behind it. It's just been super helpful for us as well.
Yeah, yeah, and I know my wife is listening in the background, so we'll probably have a conversation around this in the very near future. You know,
Definitely.
we
And
gotta have it.
yeah, and lastly, and the most important is to have a weekly meeting. And like I
Mm,
said, this may be the person that you know the best in the world, and you think because you are with each other 24/7 that you know what's going on in each other's brains or whatever. No, it is absolutely imperative that you still sit down and have a weekly meeting, excuse me.
mhm.
So what we do is we have just a spreadsheet and we'll sit across from each other and there's certain things that we hit in each meeting. And then our spreadsheet, so it will say, you know, meetings 2022. And then we have a new tab and it just transfers over the template of our meeting. And in there at the bottom, each tab is the weekly date of when we have the
Okay.
meeting. So it's a great way to also keep track of everything and go back and say, what, you know, our leads have slowed down a lot. What are we doing differently?
Mm.
Because we're not having many leads coming in, and we were you know kicking rear end live here. We were kicking butt at the
Yeah.
beginning of last year. What were we doing last year? And so you go back in and check. You know, oh, we were doing a lot more postcards than we were doing
Mm.
Facebook ads or whatever. So in there we do, it's just a quick template. We do a last meeting follow-up just to make sure we did all of everything that we said we were going to talk about last time.
Right, right.
Vance does a finance report and then we do a project update. And that's like, even though you have been working all week on the, like currently right now, we had a driveway fail and we had to literally dig up not dig up, but break up the concrete and
Ah,
get it re-inspected. Ugh,
wow.
Durham, city of Durham, you're killing me. But
Mm.
so Vance has been dealing with that. And so when we sit down every Sunday at 5 p.m. and
Okay.
we go through and do all this. So and then I found out literally today that it actually passed. And so we don't have to tear it up a second time. So it was amazing.
Oh boy, and that's a costly thing. So I gotta ask you on these meeting things, how hard did it go for you folks to be consistent with that meeting? You know, it's one
Um,
thing to start a meeting; it's another thing to do it every week like you're supposed to. How do you make that happen?
so it's something that we learned from our fortune builders experience was they said because Than and Paul and JD they would actually meet in I think it was Than's apartment
Yeah,
in the very beginning and literally have meetings I think it was Monday morning and so we adapted that we've been doing it the things that we discuss in our meeting have evolved over the years so like for example the smart goals that we do now we have like our smart goal check-in and
mm,
did we one of ours is to evaluate 10 properties a month to get 2 properties under contract etc and
right,
so
right.
we just kind of keep track how many have we evaluated this month etc um, rentals, our goal for the year is to get 4 more rentals and you just kind of tick them off as you're going through. But it definitely has evolved. I'll tell you one thing that we have added. So getting together, sometimes it's like, all right, like we may have had an argument during the day, but
That's what I mean. Yeah, what do you do there? Yeah, when life shows up, right?
we take out our laptops and we just sometimes we don't even talk to each other. We're sitting across from each other in the room or we're filling out, our
Yep.
own part on the spreadsheet. But at the very bottom, and I added this probably 2 years ago, and it's Bravo Boost. And what
Mm.
that is
Mm,
you
mm,
have
mm.
to say something nice about the other person.
Oh, I love it.
So I would be like, filling it out and everything, and then I can see that he's in that cell to fill out, and I'm gonna wait till he puts in something nice about me before I put in something nice about him. It's so silly, but truly, that is something that we've added, and it actually is super helpful. So I
Yeah,
do enjoy the Bravo boost. So
I
these
love
are
that.
5 steps that we use. You don't have to be married to your business partner, but still stay organized and, have these things together. And it's been super helpful for us.
Well, yeah, that's funny you mentioned that because I'm working with a couple in Pennsylvania and they're married and they're trying to figure it all out. So, I'm gonna make sure they hear this conversation today because you highlighted some things that we touched on. It's always good to be reinforced from someone else. So thank you for doing that. And
Absolutely.
let's take a minute. I know we got some other things to talk about. So tell me, is this part of your training, a part of your RAIN group, the group that you put together, and how do people get involved in that?
Wonderful. I appreciate you saying that. So I have a mastermind. It's called RAIN, and it's the acronym Real Estate Investor Growth Network. I had to stop
I
for a
got
second.
you.
Real Estate Investor Growth Network.
Yeah.
And so it's REIGN.
Mhm.
And I do a mastermind. And it kind of evolved from, and you can find it through rainmastermind.com
Okay.
and sign up. It's $99, one-time fee. You become a member for life. I should be charging more. I'm too lazy to redo my videos. That's the honest truth.
Well, people better hurry up and get it because I know you're going to change that. So
I'm definitely going to be upping it soon.
yeah.
We have another mastermind beginning June 5th.
Okay.
And what we start with is a deep dive. And it kind of evolved because, so back in the beginning, when I first got into real estate investing,
Mhm.
I had quit teaching. I was a middle school chorus teacher for 16 years.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I woke up one day and realized I hated children. So then I just,
Oh, man.
and I went to an equally abusive industry and went to health insurance, so it was just one of those things where it just kind of evolved. And then I got into the whole real estate thing. But when I first started, I was asked to do a case study at one of our local meetups.
Mm.
And we were only like a year in, and we had a flip under our belt. So they said, do your first flip. And Vance and I got up and we went through all the details and everything. And I just became alive again. I was just like, oh, I love this. I love being in front of people. And it was a topic that I truly cared about. And I was like, I want more of this. I knew I wanted to get back up in front of people. But again, I was a year in. I'm like, what the heck am I going to talk about? Like, who's going to want to, So
yes, I do.
it kind of evolved into things. And I went to this one conference and they were talking about making your incantation. This is a Tony Robbins exercise, and it's like your mantra. And you're like, ooh, and you want to do it like when you're physically doing things. And so I was like, what would my mantra be? And I had been struggling with it. Like, what can I do? And so it just came to me. And I was actually in a Mexican restaurant with some other real estate investor friends. And I just stood up and I said, people need my badassery. And everyone just kind of like took their drink down, like, what?
Yeah, what you drinking? I want some of that, right?
I was drinking margaritas. And so, like, quiet. And this one drunk chick at the other end of the bar was like, you're my spirit animal. And I was like, yes. So, anyway, I was like, what am I doing? People need my badassery. I need to start sharing this. So, I actually got the name Bestower of Badassery because I enjoy sharing badassery, and it's trademarked. Y'all can't have it. I pay good money for it. And so then I created RAIN. It's a mastermind format because the smartest person in the room is never as smart as all the people in the room, which is huge. I think that's a John Maxwell quote.
It is. I think. Yeah, I think it is. Yeah.
And so that's how it kind of evolved. And I just did it in a mastermind format. I took a Tony Robbins course. I did a Jack Canfield course, and I kind of combined some of those things. We do like needle pushers, needle movers, excuse me, like what accelerates your business, and everybody shares certain things. And so we do a 4-week deep dive, and we go through these exercises. I paid a ton of money for my education, which I truly believe in it. I'm investing myself, but I get to now share those tools for what, $99 one time. And you become part of my network of people. And we do Reignite, which is Rainite, if you spell it.
Gotcha.
And we will have times where RAIN members can get up and share their superpowers. So I think back to that first time when I got up and did my case study, and it built my credibility, it built my confidence. And so I wanted to give that back to other people. And I'm not teaching anything. Everybody's teaching everybody about their business. So got another deep dive starting on June 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern Central Time. So
okay. Well, we got all that stuff in the chat. For those of you that are here now and those that will hear this later on, make sure you take advantage of that. And the price, listen, for $97, man, that's not even 99. Well, yeah, I've discounted $2 at 99. It's well worth that because she's spot on. When we talk about the collective genius of the mastermind environment, it's priceless.
Well, I appreciate that, Geoff. Coming from you, the man. So.
Oh, you're so good.
I'll even let you wear a blue shirt if you decide to join.
I want to wear green, red and green. Right?
Ooh, I do love me some green money.
Oh, see there? Yeah. You see the names on there, green, right? That's money, baby.
That is money.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, listen, that was some really good stuff. And I let me make sure there's one thing I want to, you talked about, and you talked about Rain and working with your spouse. And you mentioned working with, I want to say his name correctly, the flip. Tariq, Mr. Tariq.
Al-Musa, yes.
Yeah. So what's one thing you can share with the audience that, you're like, oh man, this is really fabulous. Can you anything like that you can share? I mean,
so Tariq Al-Musa, he had, well, first of all, when he was still married to Christina, he had an education program, and it was kind of run by other people, and he didn't really like that. It was hands off for him, and it just whatever got weird. And then he ended up transitioning, and has a lot more control now over his own branding.
Gotcha.
It's called Homeschooled by Tariq, and they do crash courses once a month. They're free. They're a two-day weekend event, a couple hours each week, each Saturday and then Sunday. And then they upsell you into the program, but you get to be part of monthly boot camps. Tariq is pretty active we have every other Wednesday, we do calls, question and answer. And he gets on there and, takes time from his kids' soccer practice and will be in his car. And it's great. He's really down to earth. He's a very, very smart guy.
Yeah.
And so my role is I'm one of the coaches for his program. And I do one-on-one calls with the Homeschooled by Tariq students. And I absolutely love it. I work with amazing people. The coaches, we are a hoot. In fact, a lot of them came from fortune builders. Yes. So we all knew each other, and it's just been an awesome, awesome experience. I have not met Tariq personally. I have it on my vision board over there that before the end of the year, I will have a little, boat ride on his yacht at some point and get to hang out with him and Heather. So just
come on.
The universe.
That's right. It's out there now. You can't take it back, right? We all declare that that's going to happen for you. And remember, if he's got an extra seat, holler at me ahead of time. Right?
All right. Sounds good.
Got to bring them two, one for me and one for my wife. Can't go without her, right?
That is the truth. Yes.
Yeah. That's awesome. And that board is so important. As we kind of wind down, Dan, this has been really great. Thanks for taking some teaching moments in here. Because people they need to hear that.
I love being teachable. You know me.
Yes, I do. And my heart still goes out to the wounds that you and the experiences of teaching. My daughter's a teacher. I hear it all the time. Fourth grade. I mean, just a profession that is underappreciated.
Absolutely. And with COVID, all those teachers out there, God bless you. I have to deal with that through. I can't imagine. So, first, thank you. Yes. Glad it's not me.
That's right. Me too. I mean, I get it. Glad it's not me. So, but what can you depart on us about a nugget that can fit in any area of our life? Business.
All right, I have a good one on my computer.
Please.
So when we first left corporate America, when I first left corporate America, it was one of those things where I kind of struggled in the beginning with time, and so I created an accountability group. That's nugget number one. Get an accountability group. Meet your local tribe of people. If you start missing that water cooler talk, you've just got to create your own tribe. But I was kind of struggling because when you leave corporate America, a perfectly safe job, as my mother called it, and it's
Yeah.
just so your family and friends, a lot of them start turning. And so one coach said to me, and I had to pull it up on my computer here, entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people can't, excuse me, like most people won't, so you can live the rest of your life like most people
Yeah.
can't.
Yes,
So let
ma'am.
me say that one more time because I kind of messed it up.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so you can live the rest of your life like most people can't. And I said to my coach, I'm like, yeah. I gotta, kick some rear end and, hustle, hustle, hustle. I get it. And then I just kind of reread it a couple times, and I kept getting caught up on that most people thing.
Yes.
And that's a lot of the issues that I was facing, because those most people in my life, that some of them didn't support my decision, and they were just projecting their insecurities on me. And it was
Yeah.
really tough.
Yeah.
And most people won't take that risk because they're afraid of what lies on the other side of fear, if you know what I'm
That's
saying.
right. That's right.
Um,
That's
and
right.
then, like, most people are sitting in their little cubicle ready to jump up and say, I told you so, I told you so. And they're waiting for you to fail. So that was just a huge part of it in transitioning. And some of those people you got to leave behind. You can't bring them with you. I know a lot of your listeners are like in that mindset shift right now. And sometimes there are people that were so prominent in your life before that you just got to say, bye. I can't have that toxicity in
That's
my
right.
life. And it's just, it is, you got to do what's right for you. And what's the saying? You surround yourself with you're most like the five people you hang around with.
Yes.
I
Yes.
don't know the whole saying,
Yes.
but
Yes.
it just, you want to have quality people in your life. And if they're bringing you down, you got to move on and take care of you. They'll come around. Some of them will. Some of them, who? I don't even remember them.
Why? Yeah, that's right. And I will add to that. I know it's difficult because a lot of times it's the people that love you, your family members you've grown up with, but learning to say no and then making choices like you're talking about are so important. Because look at you now. You know,
Look at me now.
look at you now. You're an example of that, and I'm sure there's people that come back to you and are learning from you now and taking advantage of that. So, and that's the gift of being a giver. It's giving it back. So many things that you shared today have been amazing, and I really appreciate that. So,
Well, I appreciate you, Geoff Tyson. You
yeah,
the man.
yeah.
You're doing
Cheers.
so many great things, and I love your spin on how you do things, and the mindset and getting that trash out of your mind. And you're so positive, and I appreciate you very much.
Well, again, it's the community like yourself that make it all possible, right? And to give of the time and all your energy today has really been appreciated. So
Absolutely.
we've got all your information in the chat. So those of you, when you're coming in later, make sure you put in hashtag replay and then look up the badassery, the bestower of badassery. And her sister she's talking about, Joanna Anderson, badassery queen, just like Jen is, right?
Queen.
Yeah, and you as well. So we really want to say thank you. And any parting like signals or love or whatever you want to say.
Well, I just say go out there and get them, and don't be afraid. A lot of times when people are looking at other people around them and they're doing so much better at this, and take a second and look behind you and see how far you've come,
Ooh,
because you forget sometimes, and that is maybe all you need to keep projecting you forward. So,
yeah,
Geoff, thank you very much for having me on the show.
my pleasure. We'll connect again soon. So I really appreciate your time.
And
Yeah.
come check me out. If anywhere you listen to podcasts, my podcast is Real Estate Investor Growth Network Podcast. Mr. Geoff Tyson was on my show and had a fabulous interview. And
Yeah.
I just recorded episode 100. So I had a milestone. It's been awesome. Yes. and it releases every Monday at 6 a.m. So check me out. I have a goal of hitting 10,000 downloads by the end of the year. I'm almost there already.
Oh yeah, you'll get that easy. You'll get that
Well,
easy.
I appreciate it. Thank you for letting me give that shout out.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad you had the opportunity. I knew there was something we were forgetting, so thank you for speaking
Absolutely.
about that. All right, you take care. Talk to you soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Oh man, what did I tell you? Hey, you know what? Make sure you go back through and get access to this recording, because those 5 things she talked about, could be life changing. Not only if you don't have a spouse or anything else like that, it just could be a business associate, a relative, and relationships. So please, please, please take advantage of that, right? And then go to her website, check out her podcast. Let's be part of that 10,000, right? Make sure you support that podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you again for showing up today and listening to this thing later on, and for participating in the chat. And I want to just leave you with this, right? We talked about earlier, beginning of the show, about the state and the story we tell each other. And my wife and I were sitting down going through some spiritual things, and we came across this, and listen to this. It's really simple. It's a real simple message I'm going to share with you. And it's every word begins with a thought, right? Every word begins with a thought. The mouth speaks what the heart is full of. Luke 6:45, for those of you that follow that perspective, right? And I want to tell you, we can change the way we feel instantly. We can change how we think. We can change how we feel, how we act. Take control of yourself. She mentioned mantra. What is your weekly mantra today? I'd like for you to think about what is your power statement that you can come up with today. And if you need more help and you're looking for some assistance, all my information is in the chat. We've got a private Facebook group for real estate investors. For those of you looking to kind of figure out how to work with COVID and leaving corporate America stronger together, Facebook group, YouTube channel. Make sure you like and pass this on to people, right? Let them know that there is a message out there, messengers out there that want to give you the empowering, inspiring word that you can use to have that conversation with yourself in a whole different way, right? So, hey, listen, go, and you're looking for training education, go to mastermind.com. You'll find all our courses on there. And we too believe in the collective genius of those around you. So again, I want to thank our guest, my friend Jen, and for all of you folks that are here today and going to listen to this later on. Share this message, and remember, change your thoughts, change your life, right? All right. Hey, we'll see you next week or the week after. I'm not sure, but we appreciate your support. And remember, having a conversation with yourself is the most critical thing you can do to change your life. All right, baby. We'll see you next time.